Coffee, bit of a walk. Oh, we're back! So guys, Nick here again, back on YouTube. Not like I hadn't really left for very long, but the last video I did for you guys was Alice and I, our honeymoon vlogs, which was now probably, I want to say, about 4 or 5 months ago. So I did have some content I wanted to put up, however, kind of kept putting it off. I've been Instagram storing, and I guess life just takes place. So I wanted to get back on here, and no better time to do it than the first week of contest prep for 2018. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and welcome back to the channel. Similar to my past 2 contest preps, I'm gonna vlog them. I'm gonna do a weekly vlog, whether it's a day in the life, a full day of eating, posing updates, that sort of stuff. I assure you guys there'll be plenty of content, and I want you guys to hopefully take something away from this. And the channels that I follow on YouTube, I watch them for either they're being entertaining and exciting, or for their educational purposes. So hopefully you guys learn something, and I can entertain you and you enjoy it at the same time. So that's my goal, and I want to make it fun and exciting. And so let me know what you guys want to see as well. If you want to see more gym training, you want to see more voiceovers, you want Alice and Louis more involved. If you guys don't know, Alice is my wife, Louis is our French Bulldog. And a little bit of background, guys, I am a natural bodybuilder from Sydney, Australia. If you're first tuning into this channel now, then welcome. I've been lifting for, I want to say 10 plus years at least. This is my 3rd competitive natural bodybuilding season. I'm going to do, it's now, I think 4th of January, I'm going to do probably 4 shows this year. To be decided on the actual dates, but I would say they'll be around, say, that May, June, July. That should give me enough time to get ready. I took some week 1 updates. I'm going to put them on the screen now. Currently I'm at 83.5 to 84 kilos in the morning. 4 days into the diet, I'm actually 82.5 this morning. So already a little bit of water weight loss, which is very normal in these first few stages of prep. Water, maybe a little bit of glycogen as well. Current macros, I've dropped them down. I was at about 3,500 calories in the off season, maybe even a little bit higher on some days. I'm currently now at about 2,900. Protein is at 225 grams to 235 grams. Carbs at 335 grams to 345 grams. And fats at around 60 grams. So trying to hit those numbers pretty consistently. I do have a few higher calorie days on leg days, which is 2 leg days per week. So on leg days, I'll have an extra 75 grams of carbs, so almost like an extra meal there. And ideally, I will get this in around training. So this morning, it's a Friday, it's still school holidays, and people are still not back at work yet, being early January. So the next few weeks, it will ramp up a little bit. So today, finished the one-on-one clients. I've got a few programs to write and a few online check-ins. I think 2 or 3 clients checking in today on a Friday. Typically they check in earlier in the week. So I'll get through them, respond to those emails, and then gonna hit a pull day for you guys. So I love training back. I think you guys will enjoy this one. I'm gonna do a voiceover of that, let you know some different cues and some reasoning behind my exercise selection. Because my training is pretty similar. However, since I've last vlogged, it's probably even honed in. My form should be better, my weight should be heavier, and yeah, it should be progressing nicely. So I'll take you guys along for that, and I'll take you guys along for the rest of this day. And one other thing I wanted to touch on just quickly is I have implemented a meal plan. I know on Instagram I call myself a flexible dieter, and I love flexible dieting. I love using macros to get lean. Of course, it's the only thing that properly works, so you can truly track what you're taking in. However, I have implemented a meal plan, obviously based on macros, just to ensure, firstly, my energy levels are pretty stable. Just because I'm eating pretty much the same foods every day, almost Monday through Saturday. Sunday will be a little bit different. Ensure that my energy levels are also stable around training, because I typically train at the same time every day, or I'm trying to, which will mean I've had 2 meals before I train. Then I'll train, then I'll have an intra-workout shake, I'll have a small shake after, then I'll have another meal. So it's just to ensure the recovery recovery and energy levels are all stable, and I can kind of tick that box off as well. The second reason is just consistency with my routine. It's nice to have all my meals prepped, take the guesswork out of it, and not be kind of messing around with MyFitnessPal and constantly opening up an app and weighing everything and logging it in there every meal. It's good this way. I can make my meals on a Sunday, I can prep them for 7 days or 6 or 7 days, and then I know the exact portions, and I can just go into MyFitnessPal once at night, enter in what I've had, and then use flexible dieting, have about 700 calories at night time with a good amount of protein, carbs and fats. So I find this is the best way to do it, and I've never used this method before. Usually I'm really flexible with what I eat. So hopefully this works really well. Hopefully my energy levels are good. Hopefully I'm getting good routines, and also my digestion should be pretty consistent as well. So that should be a plus there. All right, let's do it. So guys, we are home now. I'm going to show you meal one. This is just a shake. It's really something pretty light in the mornings. I was going to intermittent fast, so I probably wasn't going to eat till about 11 or 12, but I think cutting, I just want to have something light, a decent amount, probably about 40 grams of protein, just to get started for the day before I have my second meal before we train. So this is just 2 scoops of whey, a little bit of Greek yogurt, just about 75 grams, 50 grams of baby spinach, and something else, some eggs. Current office space, obviously the standing desk here, I highly recommend these. We just got this from IKEA. It's pretty easy. Pull this out, wind it up or down, so it can be used for both. I love it. I found that my hips, my lower back has felt that much better. We're probably 6 months in since we moved in. Well, 8 months in since we moved in, and it's been a blessing. Like, honestly, my legs and back just feel that much better. And if you guys do have one of these, or you want tips on how high to set it, you basically want your elbows to be your desk to be just below your. So if your elbows at 90, I find just below there is perfect. That way, if it's too high, you'll find you're always crunching up. If it's too low, you'll find you're really slouching. So that's kind of the sweet spot between the both. It's going to be good for the posture, and also you can stand up nice and tall. What do you guys reckon? Since he's last been on YouTube, you reckon he's grown? It's funny, Alice always feeds him big amounts, and I always feed him small amounts, so I think he's getting a bit overweight. But I think he's at a healthy weight now. Look at him. Good boy, bud. Say hi. He's a little keg. He weighs 13 kilos and is only like half a foot tall. My second meal of the day, I'm having some rice, corn, a little bit of cheese on there, and some spinach. I'm going to have a whole can of this tuna in oil, just 10 grams fat and about 36 grams protein, so really good stuff. And just check this out for prep life. What? These are always the finest tuna. So the quality of this tuna is just second to none. It's really, really flaky, it's quite white, and it just tastes amazing. And the macros are actually better than most other tunas on the market. So they're on sale, so we loaded up in here, so stocked up for probably a good 2 to 3 months. He's never far off when I'm eating. So the macros for this, guys, protein to be about 40 grams, carbs about 75, and I'd say the fats probably 15. Getting ready for the gym now. I like to put my intra workout in the fridge. At the moment, during training, I'm running 25 grams of carbs through a cluster dextrin. I'm running electrolyte powder, some taurine, and I just put my creatine with my during workout as well. So and some essential amino acids. So 5 things in there. The essential aminos are flavored. They're like a raspberry orange, I want to say. It's very, very tropical. It tastes quite good. So you can see in the background, still got our Christmas tree up. I think it's the 5th of January, so we'll keep it up for probably another 5 or 10 days. I remember a few years ago, Alice and I kept it up the whole way through January just because we love the smell of it and the look of it too, so it's quite nice. So, gonna go to the gym now. Actually getting picked up, training partner today, James, who's actually a baker and a barista locally, friend and a client of mine as well, so he's gonna pick me up. He's actually got quite a nice vehicle today, so I'll show you guys that as well. All right. That's nice. Kingdom Gym, guys. My first video actually doing some filming at this gym. This gym was actually only opened, I want to say about 6 months ago, so it's early days. It used to be called Animal Kingdom, and it's just moved location and got a heap more gear. So this is my home gym for now. So we ended up, so this day was actually a back and a glute day. I know I called it a pull day earlier in the video, but it's a back and glute day, and it's a day that I've been really enjoying. It's a lat focused back day combined with some glutes. Glutes, one of those body parts that when I first started training, I didn't do enough of. So here we are now, years later, trying to really work them hard, and especially during prep to kind of keep them where they're at. So you'll see there, my first exercise was the hammer strength step back row. For those of you that know me, I love that movement. It's excellent exercise profile. It gets easier as your elbow comes closer to you where you're weakest, and it's just a really good, stable exercise that you can load up pretty heavy. So doing them first. Then secondly here, I'm picking an exercise with a bit more of a stretch. So we're doing a single arm lat pull down. On the other day, I'll do a double arm on this. So single arm, and you'll see I've positioned myself with that bench, and so I can kind of push my foot into the weight stack there to brace myself a little bit better. So that's kind of one of the weaknesses with this exercise, is obviously the bracing if you're not using a normal lat pull down. And the reason I don't use a normal lat pull down is because I want that, I guess, the pulley to be in line with my shoulder or slightly outside my shoulder if possible. It's just going to feel better on the joints, on the elbow, rather than having it above your head and then pulling it out to your side, to your left or your right. Then went into some upper back work. We did a double drop set here. So this is the first normal set, and you'll see James, he strips a weight from each side. I go again. He strips another weight from each side, and I go again. This is just kind of one all-out set for mid-back, rhomboids, and traps. My traps are actually on fire. Being such a long set, my traps are working pretty hard just to keep my shoulder blades, I guess, down and back, and to protract and retract. So they were working really hard there. So we got through 3 sets here. The only other thing I wanted to touch on is my exercise order on this day and how it's varied in the past. In the past, I probably would have started with a free weight and maybe moved on from there, like a barbell row or a single arm dumbbell row. I'm loving implementing more machines in my back training. I find I can position my body a little bit better. I'm a bit more stable, and my lower back is actually thanking me for it. Having had issues in the past, it's nice to be able to go 6 to 8 months with no pain at all. So it's really, really good. And I also attribute that to a little bit more stretching and a little bit more yoga as well, which I wasn't doing in the past. So we'll talk about that in future videos. From here, we went on to some banded deadlifts. So the deadlifts are actually, I hooked the bands, or a single band, onto the rack and actually walk through it. So it's going to provide a little bit of cueing at the waist in order to help me drop my hips back to the wall behind me, but it's also giving me something to push into and have a little bit of tension into at the top. So at the top of the deadlift, obviously you've stood up and you've done all the work. This actually provides me with something a little bit extra to kind of push into. And I got this off Jordan Peters, so trained by JP. I highly recommend his website. He's got like a website with video logs and that sort of stuff. It's a subscription, and it's cheap. I think it's in Australian dollars or US dollars, probably about $10 a month. So after these, we finished with kind of one all-out set of single arm dumbbell rows. I actually hadn't done these in a little while. They're on James's program, and they're also on my old program, but I'd taken them out because my elbow was playing up a few weeks ago, and the gripping of the dumbbell was what was doing that. However, these felt sweet. I managed 38 kilos, which is about probably 90 pounds, maybe 85 pounds. And doing these towards the end of the session at that weight, I was really happy with. So we just did the one drop set there, and then we did some glute work, typically some high rep glute work at this point. We did 3 sets of 15 on the glute bridges, and then we did like a metabolic kind of side monster walks, adductors, and some body weight glute bridges and squats, all with the band around our knees. So pretty good, pretty efficient session, I would say. The only thing is it did take a fair while. It took about an hour and a half, but I allow that for my training, and training with James here, he likes to push himself, so he was a good partner in crime on this day. Alright guys, I'll let the rest of the video roll and we'll get back into the day. Session done and log booked. Like everything, always tracking everything I do so I can know exactly what I did, how it felt. Next time I can try and improve it. I just want to show you my Versa grip. So you can see here it's got a hole missing out of it, and the whole bottom bit is actually, the whole padded bit is actually missing. Louis got to this. Louis 2 now, or over 2, probably 2.5. And he looks harmless, but really he had my Versa grip, was just chewing it on the floor for probably about, say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He managed to rip the little rubber, whatever it is, bit apart, and then it became like a paste and went all over our carpet. So I'm missing about 1/10 of my Versa grip, and it actually was digging into my skin, so I'll probably get some more. However, I reckon I can cop them for a little bit as well. I do love them. They're easily the best lifting straps I've ever used. You can spend, say, $15, $20 on some cheap figure 8 ones, or just hook ones. However, if you're going to do it once, do it right. I think in Australia you can get the Versa grips landed for about 60 to 65 bucks, which sounds expensive, but mine have lasted me about 4 years, so totally worth it. So guys, post-workout rooftop meal now. Typically right after I train, I'm not super hungry, so I'll have like a shake and some cereal, something that digests really easily and it's fast. So all I'm going to do is have 1.5 scoops of chocolate protein and simply just pour it into my bowl of Cheerios here, which is 50 grams. Nice and easy. And then I'll have a bigger meal in about an hour, which will be my chicken and potato meal. So just took Louis out to the dog park. He's pretty gassed. Next meal here, we've got 200 grams of chicken, some baked potato, a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of spinach, and then just a bit of sauce on there for flavouring. So this should be pretty good, and it leaves me with about 800 calories for tonight.
What did you get?
It's a salmon bowl with rice and just a lot of vegetables. It's really good.
Dig in.
So just walking home from dinner with wifey, walking a long way to get our steps up. So I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A with Alice, so I'm going to ask her a few questions here. So question 1. What's your favourite exercise at the gym? And what's your favourite exercise to watch me do at the gym?
Well, good question. So, my favourite exercise at the gym at the moment, and it definitely changes a lot,
Boring.
adductor.
Oh, the adductor, yeah.
Yeah. And my favourite exercise to watch you do.
Is that Mr. just burns like
Yeah.
crazy?
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups. Haven't been doing that many lately. Just with the old forearm tendonitis. So next question, will you ever compete?
No, I don't think so. I cannot see that day, but I'm not ruling it out completely. I'm not saying never, I'm just saying I don't think so.
And this is my 3rd season, so I think if you would have done it, you would have considered doing it by now.
Yeah, I would have caught the bug by now.
Maybe when we're 50.
Just for you.
God, I'm going to be all old and grainy and shit.
I think it's nice that we don't do all of the same activities.
True. You got to be different. It's the key to a healthy marriage. We've been married 6 months, we know.
Longer, 10.
Sorry, 10 months. 10 months. Key to a healthy marriage, not know how long you've been married.
Also, when you die, you forget how long you've been married.
True. So off camera, Alice asked me what my life motto is, and I have completely forgotten, but apparently I don't have one. So, what's your life motto?
If it's meant to be, it's up to me.
So what does that mean?
Well,
Some people might hear that and think, I don't know.
I'm not a fatalist, so I don't necessarily always think that what's meant to be will just happen without you actually putting in any effort. I think you need to put some work in, energy and effort in if you want something to happen.
Yeah.
And
You're very small.
that's what I reckon.
I like that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a motto like me, get on that, take
like
that, steal it, run with it.
I like, yeah, you're welcome to it. I like it because it shows you actually have some control over your life.